She didn't simply lose a basketball game, she watched her composure evaporate live, while millions of thumbs launched her name into every trending list on Earth. The final scoreboard screamed Indiana 92, Chicago 61. But that number had stopped mattering long before the buzzer. What mattered was Angel Reese storming down the tunnel, cheeks blazing, her coach stretching a desperate arm that never caught her sleeve. 40 minutes of basketball had mutated into a combustible docudrama, and the fuse kept sizzling even though injured superstar Caitlin Clark stayed wrapped in warm-ups from first tip to final horn. Before we peel back every crackling layer of this wildfire, smash that like button right now and drop a prediction in the comments. Did tonight fracture this rivalry for good? Or just load it with more dynamite before the next collision? Your take drives the conversation, and the conversation keeps the lights burning long after the arena speakers power down. On paper, the night belonged to Chicago. The instant beat reporters confirmed Clark's quad tightness would keep her on the bench. Oddsmakers flipped the sky to 5-point favorites, secondary market tickets dipped, and desk chair analysts shifted their hot takes toward Commissioner's Cup tiebreakers. Instead, fans at Gainbridge Fieldhouse found themselves glued to a masterclass in chemistry, ego, and the weird gravity that tugs two magnetic stars into the same orbit, even when they share 0 minutes on the floor. By the time staff folded the courtside chairs, loops of Reese's towel-draped exit and Clark's sideline fist pumps had zipped around the globe twice over. 48 hours earlier, Clark had willed Indiana past Connecticut and into the Cup final. With their headliner shelved, assistant coach Carlos Knox christened tonight proof of product. Win without the league's biggest draw, he said, and silence the chorus calling the Fever a one-woman circus. Across the hardwood, Chicago's layup lines felt noticeably quieter. Murmurs about locker room tension trailed behind them, along with fresh chatter about Reese's me-bounds trademark filing. Some hailed it as business-savvy empowerment, others grumbled it spotlighted brand over basketball. At 7:30 sharp, arena lights dimmed, Eye of the Tiger shook the rafters, and the Jumbotron caught Clark clapping in her hoodie. 11,000 voices erupted as if she'd just drilled a logo three. Reese's entrance triggered a swirl of cheers, boos, and uneasy laughter. Pure oxygen for drama. First possession, Dana Evans tried to swing a soft pass across the top. Lexi Hull pounced like a cat ambushing yarn, sprinted coast to coast, and kissed a banker off glass while Reese slapped the backboard in vain pursuit. Cameras cut to Clark, already vertical, towel whipping circles overhead. Chicago's scripted response fed Reese in her comfort zone on the left block. She powered a crisp drop step, created daylight, and watched the bunny rim out. No panic yet, but the next trip produced an identical miss. Indiana raced back, drilled a transition three, and forced a sky timeout before 2 minutes had clicked off. Chicago's blueprint unraveled faster than you could fast-forward a highlight package. Confidence started leaking like air from a punctured tire. Evans bricked consecutive triples. One ricocheted so high, Aaliyah Boston corralled it in mid-bounce, pirouetted, and slung an outlet to rookie Grace Berger for another splash. Reese finally cracked the scoring column on an and-one putback, only to clang the free throw and stomp away chewing frustration like gum. The opening quarter ended 23-14 Fever. But the emotional gap felt like a canyon. Second quarters exposed liabilities. This one magnified them. Boston turned away a Haley Van Lith layup with a two-handed roof block that detonated crowd noise. Hull threaded a 30-foot rainbow that barely rustled nylon. Reese secured a defensive rebound, but swung an elbow into Boston's ribs. Referees holstered whistles. 2 possessions later, she mishandled a routine post entry, floated an 8-footer that clipped only glass, and Indiana punished the turnover with yet another corner three. ESPN's Holly Rowe reported Sky Huddles devolving into frantic finger-pointing. Missed switches, sloppy angles, energy deficits. Reese's stat line at the half painted the same picture. 5 turnovers, 2 fouls, 1 ice-cold glare. Meanwhile, Indiana's depth sparkled like hidden gems. Hull on a 16-point pace, Boston gliding toward an effortless double-double, Berger dealing dimes with the calm of a 10-year vet. The scoreboard declared 47-32. But body language showed something worse. One team ballooning with belief, the other shrinking under spotlight heat. Third periods rescue contenders or bury pretenders, and tonight it detonated. Hull opened the half by selling Reese on a jab, sliding right into daylight and launching a triple that barely rippled the net. Reese answered by muscling Boston under the rim. Another point-blank rolled out. Her third such heartbreak. She glared at the stanchion, as if it had insulted her ancestors. Indiana ran a pristine pin down, freeing Berger for a corner bomb. The crowd roared beyond jet engine registers, and Clark pogo-sticked in place. Towel-twirling tornadoes. Scoreboard? 63-37, and climbing. That's when frustration finally burst its seams. Reese gambled for a half-court swipe, missed, and bulldozed Berger. Whistle, foul number 3. Seconds later, she shoved Boston, fighting for position. No call, then barked at the ref. Veins corded in her neck. Coach Lindsay Harding yanked her early, searching for calm that never arrived. Reese unlaced her sneakers, slipped into slides, and stared through teammates offering consolation. Her eyes resembled traffic lights stuck on red. By quarter's end, Indiana owned a 78-44 stranglehold. Chicago's offense devolved into frenetic isolations, contested pull-ups, and zero cohesion. 2 minutes into garbage time, Reese vanished down the tunnel. Official notation: did not return, coach's decision. Across the way, Indiana's reserves turned the fourth into a highlight reel. KB Lou Samuelson splashed a transition 3 so pure, Clark hurled her towel sky-high like confetti. And the bench formed a conga line of celebratory shimmy. Press conferences shifted instantly from X and O chatter to human drama. Harding fielded 10 straight questions about Reese before anyone asked about the actual game. "We'll handle that internally," he repeated, jaw set in granite. Reese skipped microphones altogether, but 20 minutes later, her X feed detonated. 3 white-on-black words: next one up. No apology, no context. In less than an hour, the phrase trended worldwide, dethroning the actual score. Clark took the podium with an ice pack taped to her thigh, and a diplomat's calm. She praised Hull's fearless green light, Boston's anchor defense, even tipped her cap to Chicago's effort. Asked about Reese, she offered one measured sentence: "Everybody has rough nights, great competitors bounce back." That clip drew 40,000 likes before midnight, proof that grace still sells. Morning radio melted phone lines. Body language experts slowed bench footage frame by frame. Did Reese mouth "I'm done" or "I can't"? Rumors of locker room blowups mushroomed until Chicago's GM Jeff Call labeled them pure fiction. Reese's agency posted Maya Angelou's "Still I Rise." Magic Johnson dubbed the rivalry ratings gold. Lisa Leslie predicted Reese would drop 30 and 15 within 2 weeks. And TNT's Kenny Smith claimed both franchises were one honest team dinner away from flipping scripts. Context expanded. Indiana's record climbed to 7-5, its cup final date with Minnesota locked for July 1st. Chicago fell to 3-9, playoff odds flickering like faulty neon signs. Editorial pages wrestled bigger questions. Are racism and sexism amplifying vitriol aimed at Reese? Or does her swagger simply magnify ordinary backlash? Commissioner Kathy Engelbert convened a league-wide call urging a united stand against hate speech after an earlier Fever Sky game drew ugly slurs from a pocket of fans. Meanwhile, the July 27th rematch in Chicago, already listed at triple face value on resale apps. Proof controversy converts to cash. Away from camera lenses, the human load remained heavy. Reese doom-scrolled mentions that mixed adoration with venom, each ping a thump on already bruised confidence. Clark squeezed rehab, film study, sponsor shoots, and a promise to refurbish 50 community courts into a single week. Public rivals, private peers, they text about sleepless nights, chronic soreness, and how fame's magnifying glass burns when you stare back too long. Indiana's proof of product mission achieved liftoff. They throttled a rival without their marquee, proving depth isn't a myth. Chicago confronted a sobering gap between hunger and hurry. Yet, resilience rarely struts in highlight reels. It often sneaks in disguised as embarrassment. Sometimes it's hidden in a failed layup, sometimes in a 3-word tweet typed with shaking thumbs, sometimes in an injured superstar's voice funneling competitive fire into cheerleading. Seeds sprout in cracked pavement. What happens next? Does Angel Reese metabolize humiliation into a scorched earth revenge tour that drags Chicago from the basement? Does Caitlin Clark's quad hold steady long enough for a rookie-led cup chase? Or does social media's relentless churn eventually scorch them both, proving the spotlight is equal parts sunbeam and magnifying glass? The answers arrive fast. 2 weeks, maybe less, because the WNBA's calendar leaves no time for sulking. Practice film waits, travel itineraries loom. Knox has already cut a highlight reel titled "Depth Wins Rings." Harding, according to insiders, spent midnight outlining a new defensive scheme that hides Reese's fatigue and unleashes her rebounding ferocity. Meanwhile, ESPN teased an alternate broadcast for the Cup final, featuring biometric overlays, heart rate spikes, real-time shot arc data, split-screen star cams. Viewers will know exactly how hard Clark's pulse hammers when the trophy's on the table. Brands pounce too. A sports drink ad set to debut during the Cup game animates Clark as a soaring eagle and Reese as a charging lioness. In the spot, they butt heads, recognize mutual respect, then join forces to vanquish a fire-breathing dragon wearing doubt across its chest. Tagline: "Opposites ignite greatness." Fan debates started before the ad even aired. Does collaboration dilute the beef, or prove women's basketball can showcase rivalry and unity in one breath? Either way, marketing budgets keep climbing, and players across the league see proof that their era of undervaluation is closing fast. Through every thread runs the reminder that both women are barely past college age, still figuring out how to juggle highlight pressure with human fragility. Reese spent her post-game night stretching in the team hotel hallway, processing the loss with veteran Candace Parker via FaceTime. Clark iced her leg while scribbling motivational notes for teammates she'll lead into Minneapolis. Greatness hinges on tiny decisions made inside empty gyms after embarrassing nights. Extra free throws here, a film room apology there, a stubborn refusal to let social media script your narrative. So if you rode every twist of this roller coaster with me, hammer that subscribe icon right now so you're front row for our Cup final breakdown and the inevitable rematch that could rewrite basketball's most polarizing saga. Light up the comments, keep it respectful, and remember, legends aren't forged solely in the wins we cheer, they're hammered from the wreckage athletes choose to rebuild.